We're gonna hit some topics that are not that are taboo right now. Um, through struggle sessions, in the media, through struggle sessions, through forced self-cancellation, through exquisitely refined psychological warfare over the last couple decades, last century, through a lot of different avenues. Um, some very important core basic facts about the reality we live in have been memory hold, have been disappeared, and we're not allowed to talk about them. So let's talk about them. Where do we start? Let's call this the beginning right now. Operation Paperclip. And I hate that it's so bright. I have dark mode on, but it ain't dark moding me. Dark mode, sucker. Yeah, whatever. We'll do that behind the scenes. So, what is large? Ooh, large. What is wide? Ooh, wide. So, has anybody heard of Operation Paperclip? Was this genius, totally above board? I don't know if I want to be facetious today. So, it's this evil, corrupt agenda by the CIA and other intelligence agencies and Russian intelligence agencies. So governments worldwide at the end of World War II, it was hungry, hungry hippos for Nazis. Doesn't matter what you did, how many people you killed, all the evil human sacrifices you did, operating on people while they're alive, gassing them in the chambers, the Holocaust. None of that matters to the intelligence agencies across the world. They are playing hungry, hungry hippos with Nazis. And that's Operation Paperclip in America. Yes, we'll take these Nazis. What did we do with these Nazis? We founded NASA and put them in charge of rockets and missiles and other things like the UN and a lot of other high positions in globalist shit, I'm losing my train of thought. Whatever, what's that word? Bodies, institutions, globalist things. We put all these Nazis that we gathered up and put them in charge of research. We went over there and said, hey, killing people's bad, but hey, can you come over here and kill people for us? That's what we did with the Nazis. Put them in charge of NASA, all this fun stuff. So when we say, you're supposed to, the social media a couple years ago was saying you're supposed to hate Nazis and you're supposed to punch Nazis. That's what Facebook and Instagram told you. And how they defined Nazis were people who wear red hats and like America. So now you got to hate Trump supporters because they're the Nazis. Well, NASA is the Nazis. NATO is the Nazis. The Azov battalion in Ukraine is the Nazis. I don't know how to spell it. Azov, B-H-E-L-U-K-R-A-I-N-E. That's not how you spell it, but Azov, A-Z-O-V. So what we're sending our money to, your and my money to, over 200 billion so far, is to fund present day Nazis. And we're not saying they're Nazis. They are saying they're Nazis. All the Nazis that didn't get hungry, hungry hippoed up by Russia and by America and other countries, they fled to Ukraine. And then they formed the Azov Battalion, which is who we're giving the money to now to kill the shit out of eastern Ukraine, which is called the Donbass, which voted 2 times to get the hell out of Ukraine. The people of Crimea and the Donbass voted 2 times to get the hell out of Ukraine because of how corrupt and Nazi Ukraine is. That's what this war is about. And it's about NATO, the Nazis and NATO going into Ukraine to try to hurt Russia because Russia doesn't like Nazis. And that's what Vladimir Putin said. They're like, why are you going into Ukraine? Well, I got to denazify it. Who's he talking about? The Azov Battalion, who are literal Nazis and descendants of Nazis who are still Nazis. I mean, and this isn't like, Orange Man bad. If you wear a red hat in America, you're a Nazi and you should punch them. Like social media brainwashed a lot of leftists, a lot of left retards, BLM, Antifa, the trans movement, all went full retard over this. They're being programmed. How are you being programmed? How is the real Nazis in NASA that were hungry hippoed into NASA and ran NASA, started making weapons for US? So it's just like BLM. Like BLM doesn't hate racism and intersectionality and this woke left. They like racism. They're using racism as their main weapon. They just want to have the power so they could be the ones giving out racism to everybody. They just didn't like that they were the target of racism. And that's what Project Paperclip is. We didn't hate the Nazis, is what NASA says, what our Central Intelligence Agency says, what governments around the whole world say. We didn't hate the Nazis. We just hated that we were victims of their violence. So if we gather the Nazis up, now we can make other people victims of the violence. That's what wokeism is. It's complete demonic insanity. That's what BLM is, funded by the intelligence agencies. That's what Antifa is, funded by the FBI. That's what this transgender movement is, funded by FBI and CIA and foreign governments. But how do you get all these people in a row to walk in creepy lockstep to believe the same thing, completely divorced from reality? It sounds like they're saying words in English, but they're speaking gobbledygook. They're speaking nonsense. They went full retard, and you never go full retard. But the trans movement and BLM and Antifa went full retard. How do you convince the young, the impressionable, people under 25 whose brains haven't fully developed yet? How do you convince them to believe in some alternate reality that doesn't exist? Well, again, our intelligence agencies step up and say, well, we got an idea. Since we hungry hippoed and gathered up all the Nazis, we put the Nazis to work to psychologically torture American citizens. And how did they do it? Through drugs, through LSD, through other very, very sick and satanic methods. They figured out how to brainwash people. It's called, and these are the best at it. You have you have an abusive husband gaslighting his wife and all that for years and years. That's brainwashing her. And she keeps staying with him. Oh, I can't leave him. He needs me. And he just continually beats her. That's brainwashing. That's codependent. But that husband's an amateur compared to the CIA. They're doing it way better, if you could use the word better, but they're doing it way bigger. They're forming groups that are in complete psychosis, completely brainwashed into thinking some weird reality. Their fellow American citizens are Nazis because they wear red hats. That's what TikTok and Facebook through the CIA and FBI convinced these people to believe. It's not the actual Nazis. It's not the actual Nazis killing Jews. It's the people wearing red hats that are trying to make America great, trying to get jobs back in America, trying to boost the economy, trying to get people, a second car, trying to get them low groceries, good energy. Those are the bad guys, according to these woke individuals. Just imagine it. Just step back for a second and imagine their mind. They are cheering. They're wearing the flags, the Ukrainian flag, who is being ran by Nazis. And they're cheering them on. Imagine that. The Nazis who killed anybody, gays, queers, Nazis would kill you. Down syndrome, anybody, the infirmed, dead. And these people are supporting the Nazis and denouncing America First and the Patriots who are trying to help and stop the Nazis, and shitting on Russia, who's going into Ukraine to stop the Nazis. Just imagine being that brainwashed. Imagine being that MK Ultra. And this says MK Ultra was an illegal human experiment program. Wikipedia, it is currently being done on children. Children in colleges are going through struggle sessions right now. Pronouns, that doesn't even fucking exist. Choosing your pronoun, or it's a hate crime. There was just a news clip that a woman and a child got kicked off a plane for misgendering. It's not even a real word. Misgendering a flight attendant or misgendering somebody, because it's a hate crime. In Canada, it's against the law to misgender one of these MK Ultra victims. It's written in law to be a hate crime. Talk to Jordan Peterson. He talks about it. It's coming to America. And it's the literal Nazis, not pretend. And they're far right. How are they far right? That's the part I don't understand. How are Nazis far right? They were the National Socialist Party, which is far left, and they believe in big government at the federal level, centralize everything to one centralized power at the top. That's communism. That's on the left. I don't know how they say far right. I think it's how they say, like, Republicans are the racist when Democrats started the KKK and Democrats started Jim Crow, and Republicans had to go down south and kick the shit out of the Democrat plantation owners to free the black slaves. That's where the Democrat Party or the Republican Party was invented, to go down south and kick the shit out of the slave owning Democrats. I think it's like that. So this Azov Battalion is far right. I don't understand that, because far left is centralized control. All power goes up to the federal government. They have all the resources, all the food, all the infrastructure is all the government, the federal government. That's the left. The right is everything goes down to the individual. So it's anarchy versus totalitarianism. The right is less government, less regulations. Everyone govern yourself. So at the far right is anarchy, which is not chaos. Anarchy is everyone governing themselves and nobody has power over anyone else. So how they call it a far right group, I don't understand, because the Nazis came to power because they were socialists, and they say national socialists. I think by national they mean federal, like centralize everything up. So that completely blows my mind. I don't understand it. Maybe it can be understood, but I don't understand how Nazis could be far right, because you need centralized government. You need everything flowing up in communism, socialism, totalitarianism, fascism. Everything has to flow up into one entity, the Leviathan. And that's usually on the left. So I put Nazism on the far left, because you need centralized government. The far right wants less government, less regulations. So I don't understand that now, but that's just my definition of it. So that's what Putin did. Well, he had to stop NATO. He had to stop the Nazis in Ukraine. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of the countries around uh, Ukraine don't want the refugees because there's too many of them are Nazis. They're like, no, we don't want these people in our country because way too many of them are Nazis. and the Donbass, which is eastern Ukraine, ethnic Russians, Russian-speaking people who voted twice to get the hell out of Ukraine because they don't like the Nazis. Since the Minsk Agreement in 2004. 2014, when we went over there and did the color revolution in Ukraine and knocked their presidents out, and we installed another president in Ukraine back then. This was a ceasefire agreement, which Western Ukraine, the Nazis, Azov Battalion, never stopped. They've been blowing up their own citizens and the Eastern Ukraine because Eastern Ukraine wants to go back to Russia because they're Russian and they speak Russian, ethnic Russians. So then America went over and did a color revolution, tried to install somebody. And he was a complete retard. All right, now there's a girl in there. This jamoke. So we went over and did a color revolution. And like the CIA does all around the world. Victoria Nuland, I think, Nuland, the one that said that, yeah, we have biolabs that have bioweapon material in them, and we got to get there before Putin gets it. But that's the whole reason Putin went in, was to secure these biolabs so they would stop making terror weapons that are killing people worldwide. You think the Wuhan lab was the only lab they have? There's 42 bioweapon labs in Ukraine. Not anymore. Putin went and grabbed those and secured them. But the deep state, these Nazis, were in charge of 42 bioweapon labs with no oversight. They could do whatever they want. Human experiments, MK Ultra, viral bioweapons, anything. There was no oversight over these 42 bioweapon labs. Victoria Nuland admitted it. So they went over there and Victoria Nuland and all her demons went over and did a color revolution, installed this guy into Ukraine because he's going to be America's puppet, and because they got to take Russia down because Russia's not listening to the CIA and the deep state pedophile, Satanist, satanic pedophiles. Where we at? 18 minutes this time. The elite satanic pedophiles installed Mikhail Sakharovsky, and he sucks. He was a piece of shit and he sucks. So they went ahead and kind of scooted him over and put it. He's still a useful idiot. So they put him in charge of Georgia, the country of Georgia. So now he's running Georgia. So they needed somebody else, and they got hopefully I don't get any porn coming up. So they had old Michael in charge of. They installed the CIA and Victoria Nuland and others. I think Clinton was involved. She might have been Secretary of State back then. Something. They went over into Ukraine and they installed their puppet, their useful idiot, this guy, and he was dumb. The people hated him. Nobody liked him because they were building bioweapons factories everywhere in Ukraine, 42 of them. And that's why Putin went in and secured those, because they were, going to do some demonic shit and kill more people like they did in 2019. So they kicked him out and he went to Jordan. And now I guess we have the lady in charge of Jordan. So I don't know where he went. So Ukraine needed another leader. Who are we going to install? This guy. This guy is the perfect leader to lead Ukraine. This your boy. He's the Ukrainian president, and his qualifications, you ask, what makes him so qualified to be a Ukrainian president? Well, he is qualified to be Ukrainian president because of his career as a comedian and a TV sitcom star where he played the Ukrainian president in a TV show. That's his qualifications. And now he's milking the American people out of hundreds of billions of dollars. You're paying this guy, this demon, you're paying him billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to have his Azov Battalion Nazi brigade kill innocent ethnic Russians and Russian-speaking people. That's what you're doing. You're supporting the Nazis and this asshole to kill innocent ethnic Russians in the eastern Ukraine Donbass area. That's what you're doing. That's what you're voting for. You wear that Ukraine flag on your lapel. You put the Ukraine flag on your Facebook profile. You're voting for this guy and his battalion of Nazis, literal Nazis, literal, not pretend like what the woke people talk about. These are they are literal Nazis to go kill ethnic Russians in the Donbass. Tens of thousands already murdered before this war broke out. That's why we need to dismantle NATO. That's why we need to NATO. If NATO was doing its job was to stop Soviet Union from ever forming again. If it was doing its job right now, but not just the Soviet Union, but any power to form in Europe. And right now, NATO is that power, the big evil Leviathan forming in Europe. So if NATO was actually doing its mandate and actually doing its job, it would have to kill itself. So it's not doing its job. It's doing its agenda, which is expand, take over, build bioweapon labs in Ukraine, because Ukraine is the slush fund for all the American congressmen. They're getting paid. Hunter Biden has his businesses over there. That's a whole other thing. I can't wait. The Hunter Biden laptop when we have all the receipts for all his transactions when he was on the board of Burisma in Ukraine. That's going to be so delicious when the average NPC player, the normie, actually gets that into their mind, like that seeps into their brainwashed mind. I wonder what they're going to do with it. Like, because it's so like if these woke people what happened in Ukraine with the Bidens and Burisma and Hunter Biden, that's not even allowed into their minds. Like it's so different than the MK Ultra they've been programmed. It's so different from what they've been programmed to believe is reality. They don't see what they see. If I hold up 4 fingers, they were programmed to say that's 5 fingers. I hold up 4. How many do you see? They say 5. Because if you say 4, which is the correct answer, we'll pull your teeth out. That's 1984. That's a struggle session. So they've been programmed to not give the right answer out of fear, out of something. The CIA does their job well. Exquisitely refined psychological warfare on young people. And it works. It's evil. It needs to be stopped, but it works. Case in point, all these young people under 25 with underdeveloped brains in the streets, gluing their hands to roads, spraying Stonehenge. They can't create anything. They cannot create anything. They can only destroy works of art that other people create. They have no skills whatsoever. What they have is emotions. They don't have any facts. They don't live in reality. They don't see reality. They can't contribute to society at all. with their underdeveloped, brainwashed brains. But what they do have is energy and emotion. And that's all these intel agencies, these intelligence agencies are looking for. Do you have energy, which young people do? Do you have emotions, unbridled emotions that are untethered to facts? Yes, they have that. Well, let's brainwash them. So that's a little bit of a background to this is the Ukrainian president right now. This is who we're giving all our tax dollars to. Instead of fixing our roads, instead of fixing our bridges and our dams and our infrastructure and our electric, instead of educating our children and to make them read and to make them do math, instead of teaching them how to give blowjobs to adults, because that's what they're doing in schools now. Teaching the woke agenda, drag queen pedophile hour, they're teaching them how to give blowjobs to adults. They could be reading and learning math so they would be valuable in the world, but they're turning them into brainwashed sex slaves. If they don't cut off their dicks and tits. If they make it past that brainwashing, then they'll put them on the SSRIs. They make it past that, then they won't be valuable at all on the world stage because they have no skills. They'll have emotions. They'll be able to yell at people, but that's about it. Nobody will believe them. They're not worth anything. The education system is making a product, which is the children, a worthless product on the world stage. Nobody wants Americans, educated Americans. Do not hire college educated people from now on. They are not worth a damn. And that's intentional. That's designed on purpose. That's MK Ultra. They're being brainwashed. Brainwashing takes a long time. Generations to brainwash a country, which is where we're at right now. There's people that know nothing about the Minsk Accord. There's people that are cheering literal Nazis. And at the same time they're cheering Nazis, they are believing they are good people. Imagine that. Imagine how much brainwashing it takes to, first off, hate Nazis or say that you hate Nazis. You were told that you hate Nazis through Facebook and Instagram. And then to cheer on literal Nazis, to put their insignias, the flag, the Ukraine flag on your Facebook profile, to cheer on Nazis, and to think you're a good person that would have in 1930s, late 1930s Germany's, you would have been the one to stand up against the rise of the National Socialist Party. You're freaking socialists. How would you stand up against the Socialist Party in 1938, the rise of the Socialist Party, if you're a socialist and communist right now? You wouldn't. You would have been ordered to kill everybody, and you would have followed those orders, just like the Azov battalion's doing it right now, and you were cheering for them, supporting them, and you still consider yourself a good person. Imagine the cognitive dissonance that they have. They are so divorced from reality through exquisitely refined psychological warfare designed to trip them up. They're victims. We are all victims of this. But we could choose to wake up. We could choose to not be normies getting spoon-fed garbage puke and then puking it out on other people. We could decide to do that. A lot of us are. America First is. The truther movement is. And let me just define it in my other show. But a truther is something we're self-identifying as. A truther doesn't know truth. They don't have claim on knowing the truth. They're not a prophet. That's not what this is. This is not a religion. This is scientific method. Doubt everything and verify everything. But a truther is someone who's researching and they're looking around for lies. A truther focuses on, they're a bullshit detector. A truther is a bullshit detector. So it's like an onion. We're looking like this doesn't make sense. Give it 72 hours. Let a news breaks, a news event breaks. Give it 72 hours. Let it kind of marinate. And we're like, that seems like bullshit. We pull that layer away. Still don't know the truth, but we have one lie that we got rid of, and now we're down to the next layer. Okay, let's look at this again. What is the data pointing to? What does the narrative say? What does the evidence say? Okay, that seems kind of bullshit. Okay, we kind of peel that away. We're removing the obvious lies from the narrative. And then we're looking at what is left. We're not calling that truth. We're calling that more true than when we started. A better possibility of being true as we're removing lie after lie after lie, layer after layer. That's what a truther is. It's a bullshit detector. And we're really good at it. Some of us better than others. Like I watch people in other podcasts that are outrageous at this. Just they could call it instantly, and they could have sources to back it up. I'm trying to get up to that level. What? Yeah. So we're going to move in. The point of this talk, I'll give you the ending. We're going to get to how this trans agenda, how to fit it into history. How does this BLM Antifa trans flag agenda fit into history? Because something feels weird about it. Something just feels yucky about the BLM Antifa trans movement. So it doesn't seem right. It seems forced. It seems inauthentic. Why does it feel wrong? The chicken's being buttheads. Why does it feel wrong? What is causing it to feel wrong? It's something about it. You just can't. It gets under your skin. Something weird. Why was a lot of people dressed up like Antifa on January 6th? Why do a lot of Antifa BLM people work for the CIA and are funded by the CIA? Why did the FBI, fund, supply fund, and come up with the plans for God, these chickens are messing with me today. For the governor in Michigan's Gretchen Whitmer, why did the FBI fund an attempted kidnapping attempt for her? And why did the same field officer that did the Gretchen Whitmer attempted kidnapping get moved to DC for January 6th and run that operation? Like, all of this is connected, and it doesn't seem right. You see the new news about January 6th, the Supreme Court? These woke globalist issues are falling apart. Their cognitive dissonance is tearing them apart. We're moving back towards reality, and I am happy about that. But yeah, so I'm trying to situate the trans flag, the BLM, and the Antifa groups. Like they're one big group. They're funded by the same people. So it's one big CIA, MK Ultra group. But how do you fit that into history? Well, I'm trying to see it like, because it's wokeism is communism. It's a one-to-one relationship to communism. Everything the communism says to attack the religion. You have to subvert the religion, the economy, the history, and the family, among a couple other things. But those are the four main ones: the economy, the history, the religion, and the family. You have to destroy and subvert those. That's what communism says. What does wokeism say? Well, BLM, they put it in their mission statement that their number one issue, they since removed it because we blasted them out for being demonic pedophile hypocrites. So BLM in their mission statement originally said their main goal is to destroy the nuclear family. That's Black Lives Matter's main goal, was to destroy the nuclear family. How do those two things relate? Black Lives Matter and destroy nuclear family. Why? Wouldn't having a strong black nuclear family be good for black people? Wouldn't it be better if black people had strong nuclear families and houses and cars and swing sets in the back for the children and communities where they could go play at the park? Wouldn't that be better for black people? The strong nuclear family, a community? Black Lives Matter says no, that's actually the worst thing ever. We need less black children and we need less nuclear families. We need more black men in jail. We need more single black moms, and we need black kids on the street. That's what BLM said. Why would they say that? What would be the reason? It's to destroy the black community. BLM was funded by the intelligence agencies to destroy the black community. Look at all the leaders. They're all arrested. Fraud, embezzlement, blah, blah, blah. Completely corrupt, useful idiots, propagated by CIA dark money. What is that? And then you see all these other useful idiots walking around giving the communist power fist with the BLM flags and all that. They don't know they're promoting the disruption of the nuclear family, but they might know that one actually, because that's how you take over. That's one of the aspects. You got to destroy the family. See, everything woke turns to shit. Okay, everything these leftist woke people touched turns to shit. Gavin Newsom in California. We're gonna change the world. We're gonna put electric car charging stations everywhere. We're gonna take $8 billion and just put electric charging stations everywhere. Which that electricity is still coal, like retards. So they did that, but they only built 7 of them in the last couple years. So those charging stations in California are costing the taxpayers in California $1 billion a piece with a B. $1 billion a piece for one charging station. Turns to shit. It's money laundering. It's completely dumb. Every woke leftist is a retard. There's no way around that. Brain-controlled MK Ultra, exquisitely refined psychological warfare. You've been retarded. Somebody retarded you. It has happened, and you could undo it if you want. So yeah, Antifa, BLM, they're attacking the family, and that's what wokeism wants. So look at wokeism. The leftists are in charge right now. They're installing this woke weird shit. So what has turned to shit in the past 4 or 5 years? What aspects of your reality have completely turned to shit in the last 5 years? Well, the economy, complete garbage, failing. Religions, Catholicism, the Vatican, all the main religions, completely fake and gay now. Nuclear family, that's BLM's main target, to destroy the black nuclear family. And the history. We're taking down statues. We're rewriting history. So everything communism attacks, woke attacks as well, one-to-one relationship. That makes wokeism a form of communism. That makes BLM, Antifa, and the trans flag people, that makes them the brown shirts. That makes them the foot soldiers of a communist regime. So we're looking at the komsomol. I know I'm saying that. Where's this? I had it all lined up, but it's gone. So this is another. So I'm trying to situate the trans flag movement. It's not new. This is just a new iteration of it. Like before, like the brown shirts in Germany, they just had. Whoops. Where? I don't want these right now. Damn it. It's gone. It disappeared somewhere. Brown shirts in Germany. Ha 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 ha. All right, yeah, I guess I needed this one. So in Germany, all they had to do was just put on a brown shirt uniform and they were young people. Yeah, they're what is that? The Crystal Knight. I forgot what that was. I haven't did Hitler in a while, but that was a massive killing. And Nazi Party, a significant role, and also rise to power. So basically, it's just a group of brainwashed children, but they're under 25, where they're and there was over 25 as well, but they've been propagandized. They've been exquisitely refined psychological warfare. They're using their emotions more than facts and data. There's us versus them, the dichotomy. Went around killing fellow citizens. So this is what's so dangerous with BLM, the trans flag people, and Antifa. They're not intelligent enough at this point to overcome their brainwashing. I mean, there's no truer statement for the movement of these people than this. You put 4 trans flags together, you come up with the swastika. Wokeism has a 1-to-1 relationship with communism. The Nazi Party, which they keep saying is right wing, I do not understand that, because they were the Socialist Party. The right wing party lost in 1930 Germany. The right wing lost in Germany. The people who won were the socialists, were the left. So somehow the Socialist Party on the left won, beat the right out, and they became the Nazi Party. And now throughout history, we're saying the Nazi is the right. The right wing lost, and that's how the socialists came to power in Germany. So I completely don't understand how they say the Nazis are on the right, because they were the National Socialist Party. And by nationalist, they mean federal, centralized power. That's the only way totalitarianism, fascism, socialism can happen, is if you centralize power. That's what you're seeing in America. We're in a cortocracy. Man, I can't say that word. A corporate ran thing. A cortoc. I practiced saying it this morning. I can't say it. A corporatocracy, something like that. Oligarchy, corporatocracy. It's easier than that. Somebody could say it easy. And we're in fascism right now, where the corporate, the private, it's called public-private partnership. It's what the CCP does. You have corporatism. Oh, that's cool. I could say that. A corporatocracy. So you have the corporations and the state walking together in creepy lockstep. That's fascism. They're one big unit pushing one big agenda. And that's the whole point of this talk. I'm trying to talk to the trans individual, not the trans movement. The trans movement is meant to harm the trans individual. So if your beliefs, whatever you're believing, whatever they are, if they align with the military, if they align with government, if they align with big pharma, if they align with the big institutions, if they align with all of those at the corporations, if your beliefs align with all of those beliefs, you're not the resistance. You're not a minority. You're the federation. You're the problem. You're the fascist. You see how that works? If you have an idea and your belief system is the exact same belief system as the oligarchs, as all these institutions working together, the military, the White House, the government, the corporations, the institutions, all walking in creepy lockstep, all cheering your views on, all clapping for you and giving you money to do more of your view, you got to watch out for that. Because throughout history, like be very aware of all these huge institutions cheering you on, because the hour is late, and that's how you get destroyed. Just a word of advice: live your life. All you trans flag people, the individuals, live your life, do your best life. You're an American citizen with inalienable rights bestowed upon you by your creator, equal rights to everybody, not more rights, but equal rights. Go ahead and live your life, but be warned when when fascism is rising, when the corporations and the public private partnership happens, when the corporations and the government come together and start promoting something and they're promoting you, be warned. There's many examples in history when the people who prop up the communist party, the people, the groups, the minority groups, the foot soldiers that are used and abused to prop up the communist party and get them into power, are always destroyed. It never ends good for the foot soldiers propping up the communist parties. Never throughout history. Works out good for the Communist Party because even if they get turned overturned, if you're evil enough and you rise high enough, the intelligence agencies will hire you. But if you're a foot soldier, down here with the communist trans flag trying to prop up the main people, you're going to get ran over. They're going to bulldoze you right into the ground. Throughout history, it happened every time. So just a heads up. You're cheering you're cheering for your own destruction. And you can't see it because you're brainwashed. So just live your life. Whatever decisions you make, fine. Don't harm other people. Don't harm children. But just a heads up. It's very easy to see what's going to happen to your movement. Very easy to see. You're the Bolsheviks. You're the komsomol. You're the little generals. You can always be sacrificed. Once these psychopaths gain power, they don't need you anymore and they will sacrifice you. That's all I'm saying. Just watch your back. It feels good, having all these corporations put the flags everywhere, having the state paint flags in the street, having the military put the soldiers in high heels. It feels good. It's like they're your friends. But let me just tell you, the corporations are not your friends. The military is not your friend. The government is not your friend. But they're all clapping at you and you're cheering, you're loving it, you're loving the attention. You're getting the warm fuzzy feelings from them. Be warned. You're walking in a minefield. Just be warned. They will bulldoze you into the dirt once they grab the power they need. Check a little bit of history. Unbrainwash your mind. Unfuck your mind. That's the only thing that could save you. See what you see. Look around. Isn't it weird that the corporations and the military and the government and the states and everything is all doing the same thing, is all moving towards one agenda? Isn't that weird that they're all doing the same thing? They all agree that we should destroy the American people. Isn't that weird? And we should only support the 1% of the people, the trans flag people, that is less than 1% of the population. We should support them and promote them. You don't find that weird? You don't think that's weird? And leave the 99% out here in the woods. We don't care about them. We don't care about the 99.3% of people. We only care about the 0.7% of people. You don't think that's odd? You don't think it's backwards? You don't have to think it's right. You don't have to think it's wrong. I'm just saying, be warned. Be warned. It never ends well for the foot soldiers of the communists. I guess I said my point. I said my point as plainly as I could say it. Think for yourself. Do not let yourself be programmed. You're being programmed every day. Anything I said today, doubt it and verify it and double check it and research it for yourself. Because again, this is a 30,000-foot view. I feel like I need to get the warnings out there that a lot of these foot soldier groups, I can't do anything about the Bolsheviks. They already got let off the cliff. Can't do anything about the komsomol. They already got let off the cliff. I can't do anything about Mao's little generals. They already got let off the cliff. Azov Battalion, they're Nazis. Who gives a shit about them? But the trans flag movement people have a chance to not walk off the cliff. I guess that's what I'm saying. You have a chance to not walk to certain destruction. These people cheering you on, these big money groups, this dark money, evil, satanic pedophile groups cheering you on, do not care about you at all. They will drop you when your worth is expired. They do not care about your survival. Just be careful. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Well, yeah, guys, I guess that's the end. I think I said it as clear as I can. I hope some people look into some of the things I said and start researching them for themselves. You have to know it for yourself. You can't let other people program you and do your research. All I hope through the talks, my goal is to just crack open someone's mind just a little bit, let a little sunshine into their mind so they could see that there's something different than this darkness they've been in. And then it's up to them to break out of the eggshell, but just crack their mind just a little bit. Let a little bit of reality into their mind, a little bit of light. And that goes a long way. So I'm hoping somebody, that's the only reason I'm doing this, is just to get somebody to wake up. That'd be so great. That's my plan. Because it will help them. It will save them. I'm still doing it. I am far from perfect. I got some really big problems I'm dealing with. But I'm dealing with them. I have to unbrainwash myself every day. It's hard. It is so hard. It's like that eggshell wants to keep growing back around you, and you got to keep breaking it off every day, and then it keeps growing back. So if you take a couple days off, you're back in the eggshell. You forgot what you knew. You forgot that you were awake for a second. Well, yeah. I mean, the FDA, we can't trust the food we eat anymore. They already have the bugs in the food. They already have the mRNA in the lettuce. It's already here. We are already poisoned. We are already brainwashed. This isn't some future thing I'm talking about. It has been happening. Yeah, just unbrainwash yourself, my people. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you could give me a thumbs up, I would love you forever. Yeah, thanks, folks. I have been CJ Butcher. This is just a little talk I had to put together. It's been bugging me lately, like kind of itching at my mind. I wanted to be as clear as I can on my stance on the trans flag movement, not the individual trans person, the trans flag movement. There's a difference. They call it, I knew I was signing out, but they call it the evil twin. Every government has an evil twin government. The CCP is not Lao Beijing. It's not old hundred names. The Chinese Communist Party is not the people. The American deep state are left-right uniparty, because Republican, Democrat, they're the same thing. They call it bipartisan. It's called uniparty. They're both funded by the same money. And the uniparty, Congress, White House, that is not the American people. That's the deep state, unelected bureaucrats. And it goes on and on and on through every country. There's the evil twin. There's the people who are the good person, And then there's the evil twin, who is the deep state that infected and took over that thing. Those are called the globalists. Collectively, they're called the globalists, the uniparty, the eugenicists, the WHO, the FDA, the CDC, NATO, UN. These are the ones that are trying to depopulate the world. The carbon they are trying to get rid of is you. As a carbon-based life form, they want you gone. They want 500 million people. That's it. We're up to almost 8 billion, 9 billion. They want 500 million people. So they got to get rid of you. And this is how they're doing it, through the trans flag movement, through Antifa, through BLM, and other names worldwide. They're getting us to apoptosis ourselves. Be advised. Just get awake as fast as you can. Crack that eggshell off of you and wake up and look at reality as fast as you can. All right. Thanks a bunch, folks. We'll see you next time.